in actual fact, the drivers of conflict and the drivers of the current situation are more about governance, stable governance, and about the economy. And it is there that some of the answers to the questions are going to be found. The current government has a legitimate mandate through the peace agreement of August 2015, and it is inclusive. And there are positive signs that many of the tenets of the ARCIS agreement of August 2015 are actually being addressed. President Kiir himself has invited a wide community of participation, with the exception of those that refuse to deny that there is a militant way forward. He has also most recently taken himself out of the process personally as the head of state, and I think that's been welcomed by quite a number of parts of the community. There are initiatives around the edges of the national dialogue which are also encouraging. Clearly, for a while, there has been significant engagement from the international community through IGAD, through the Troika of US, UK and Norway, and others, the African Union. But there's also recent initiatives from the Norwegian government to offer a platform in Oslo for factional negotiations, and most recently, President Museveni offered a platform for reconciliation or reunification of the SPLM. So I think there's a lot of initiatives wrapped around the national dialogue, and it is very early days before we see it gaining traction. But certainly the intent is clear, and the intent is clearly communicated, which is to bring together people that wish to participate in positive and constructive negotiation from a variety of perspectives across a very disparate community. UN sanctions currently are about 6 named individuals from both sides of the factions in South Sudan, or both main sides. And it is doubtful in our assessment whether further sanctions, particularly at government level, would actually be beneficial or positive in South Sudan. While they may be a gesture in themselves and a statement by the international community that the situation in South Sudan needs to change, I think that is recognized by all. Any further isolation of the government of South Sudan cannot be good. So I think to address both sides of that question, the key is continued engagement, and clearly that has to be on the part of the government of South Sudan as well as the international community. But at the moment, the signs are positive, and that engagement needs to continue as the main effort to positive progress. Well, much has been made of the Regional Protection Force, which was mandated by the United Nations back last August, immediately after the increase in tensions in July. It is still not here in strength. The advanced parties are indeed here. But it's taken a long time to negotiate on 2 sides, really. First of all, the United Nations force generation process itself can be lengthy and can be politically loaded. Secondly, engagement with the government of South Sudan has had its challenges, particularly in terms of the mandate of the force and the way that it's going to be used. Right now, Juba is a permissive environment, and in fact, most, if not all, urban centres around the country are permissive to the presence and operations of international organisations and their staff. So it's doubtful what the Regional Protection Force might bring in and of itself to Juba in the current situation.